Hello YouTube, my name is Bekah Diaz and I have severe acne. I'll insert a clip right here of me without makeup. Okay, so this is me without makeup. As you can see, I have a good deal of some active breakouts and then a lot under my chin right now. I have had this severe of acne for about going on like 2 years now. I'm 19 years old. And for me, my acne really started getting bad probably the last few months of my senior year of high school. I didn't have any acne pretty much throughout the rest of my high school career. I mean, I've always had oily skin, but the only thing I really dealt with my freshman, sophomore, and junior year of high school, and then most of my senior year was just the occasional breakout in my T-zone. And you know, it was nothing major. I never wore makeup until the last like half of my senior year. Towards, like I said, the last few months of senior year, I started breaking out a little bit more. And then it started getting worse and worse and worse. And this is kind of where I am right now. So what I really wanted to do is kind of share my acne story via YouTube, because I do have a blog on Tumblr, which is destroyacne.tumblr.com. I'll go ahead and link it below, that I started a few months ago just because I was sick of trying something new again and again and again to just try and fix my acne, and nothing working. So I started my blog to kind of share my story, share my struggles, and you know, hopefully give some other people out there you know, something, kind of a reference to be like, oh, well, this didn't work for her. I look like I have kind of the same type of skin as her. I mean, you can never really know, but my hope was that it would help somehow. So I've been running my blog for a few months now, and I'm up to, I think, 135 followers as of today, which is amazing. Like, I never thought that, you know, that many people on Tumblr would care to follow an acne blog where I just look disgusting all the time. And yeah, it's been amazing. I've met amazing people, you know, learned things about acne that I never knew. This whole thing has been a real learning experience. Granted, it sucks and I hate acne, and if, you know, I could wish it all away, I would do that. You know, I think, yes, it has made me a stronger person in some aspects, but at the same time, I've dealt with a lot more emotionally than I would have without acne. You know, I'll be honest, I have, you know, days where I just hate my skin so much. And I have my better days, of course, but, you know, then there's times where it's like, it just hits me all of a sudden. I'm like, you know what, I don't even remember what I look like with clear skin. I just don't, I can't recall my skin before acne. And that gets pretty painful, and, you know, I'll have nights where I just can't fall asleep because I'm up thinking about it and, you know, worrying that I'm going to be like this forever, which hopefully is not the case. Yeah, so I guess kind of what I wanted to do is take it to the next level. You know, I guess the next level from blogging is vlogging. So I figured I would tell you guys a little bit about my journey up to this point with my acne. Like I said, I just started breaking out you know, more than usual when I was like, it was, I think, spring, somewhere around spring of 2011. And I went to a doctor who ended up prescribing me minocycline, which is an antibiotic, and a topical cream. So the idea was the antibiotic would kind of work at the cause of what she thought my acne could be, because what I've learned is that all doctors and all dermatologists pretty much just give you kind of a basic thing. They don't really look into the actual cause of your acne. They just kind of give you like a blanket prescription and hope, you know, and then go from there. And, you know, that's honestly, that's really one thing that bugs me about this whole experience, is how you pay money or your insurance to go to these professionals and they don't treat you like a specific case. They treat you like every other case. Like, oh yeah, she has acne, let's give her what we give every other kid who has acne. And that's not, it doesn't work for everyone, you know. Acne, there's so many different causes, and you can never, I mean, granted it is a trial and error to try and figure out what exactly is causing your acne, but people should, doctors, especially the people who are professionals, dermatologists, should, you know, work more towards actually finding it rather than just throwing stuff at you to get money for their practice, you know, from your insurance, and then, you know, just keep giving you the most expensive treatments and not necessarily the ones you need. That's kind of what I've experienced. But, you know, I'll have to write a blog post on that one day because it's bad. But I went to the doctor, got minocycline and a topical cream, and then we wanted to check, you know, just make sure. So we went to a dermatologist, a very highly known, you know, nationally ranked dermatologist in my area where I lived in Oregon at the time. And she prescribed the same things. So we're like, okay, let's do it. I had started tennis in the spring, and so I was outdoors all the time, and then summer was coming up, and with minocycline you can't be out in the sun very much. It makes your skin very sensitive to sunlight, so we were like, you know what, let's wait till the fall to start this. My acne was bad, but you know, I had no problem not wearing makeup. I was like, yeah, I have acne, whatever. You know, it was nowhere near the point that it is now. And you know, so I waited till the fall, and then I started taking it in the fall. And minocycline, within seconds of me, or minutes of me taking it, I instantly got sick. I felt nauseous. I couldn't move because I felt like I would throw up, which I did a few times. And it was hell trying to do that. So we talked to the doctor, and I guess what you're supposed to do with minocycline is either do it like an hour before you eat or 2 hours after you eat. So you're on an empty stomach. And she said, you know what, if it's making you nauseous, don't do it on an empty stomach. So I did that, but I still felt nauseous, and it was miserable. So we went back to the dermatologist and like, what else can you give us? Because this is not working for me. So she prescribed doxycycline, which is basically the same thing, but it's a little less potent, a little less severe. So you're supposed to not get as harsh of side effects as minocycline. And so I started taking that, and I didn't get nauseous on it, but I dried up so much, my whole entire body, except for my face. My face didn't really dry up, which is the weird thing. But my whole body was dry to the point where I had to start taking vitamin E supplements to not have to be scratching, you know, and being itchy all the time. So, you know, that didn't work for me. You know, I took that. Granted, you are supposed to take these for a few months before you start seeing results, but I couldn't deal with the side effects to even get to the point of seeing the results. So we nixed that. I started doing minocycline once I started college, and you know, it was probably a year of minocycline and doxycycline that I did, and none of it worked, and my skin was bad. So then she started me on, I went back to her, and she suggested microdermabrasion because the pill stuff wasn't working for me, which I've heard from so many doctors and so many estheticians that you should never do microdermabrasion on acne, on any active acne. Yes, it is good for scarring and stuff like that. So once you're completely breakout free, go ahead, do microdermabrasion to get rid of the scars because it will help. But when you have active breakouts, it will actually be worse for you than positive, which I didn't know at the time because I thought my dermatologist knew what she was talking about, you know. And I went to a second dermatologist. He said the same thing. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, thinking, oh, yay, this will help my acne. But it actually, you know, like, because at that point, my acne was bad, but it was pretty much in the T-zone and not too spread out. You know, I had a little bit of breakouts on my cheeks. And, you know, I kind of just did that. And so I went to microdermabrasion for about, I think I got 6 months the first time, and it reduced the amount of huge breakouts, but it spread. My entire cheeks and still are to this day, you know, covered in breakouts. You know, it was bad. And so I went to a third dermatologist, and he was like, you know what, let's just do a few more rounds of microdermabrasion. I was like, okay. So I got about 4 months more, and it was terrible. So microdermabrasion wasn't working out for me, and then 1 month in my Glamour magazine, they had a whole thing on skincare. They were talking about how dermatologists and doctors up to this point have been told to, you know, never say that acne can be never say that acne can be caused by your diet, because there's been no proof up to this point. So every doctor I went to, every dermatologist, I'd be like, is diet, you know, could that be something that's causing my acne? And they'd be like, no, food doesn't, there's no there's no scientific connection between acne and your diet. Which that whole article was talking about how that is complete bullshit, and that there's been so many studies that have proven that what you eat can directly relate to your skincare. And I've also, your skin's, like your skin in general. Well, it outlined a whole bunch of stuff that you should stay away from, which I made a whole blog post on it. And so I'll link that down below if you guys want to check it out. But I was so strict with sticking with that diet, and I noticed I noticed my skin getting better from that, just from, you know, changing a few things in my diet, because I never really ate unhealthy, but I just wasn't, you know, as healthy as I should have been. I did really good with my diet and started noticing differences, but then I found an esthetician online who was working with Dermatologist and worked in other states, including California, and I called her on the phone and was like, can you get me an appointment with you so you could help my skin? And she's like, yeah. And I told her that I was doing microdermabrasion. She was like, whoa, stop. Don't do that anymore. That is the opposite of what you want to do. She's like, ever since I got to Oregon, I've met so many people that have had that prescribed. I've never heard that anywhere else, and you need to stop it, and come to me. So I went to her and we started doing glycolic peels with 15% salicylic acid in them, and oh my gosh, my skin started getting better, and it was insane. So I kept going with her for a few months, and then I moved down here to California, where I am currently. But right before then, my dad was like, you know what, you should probably get your hormones tested to see if this is hormonal. And I was like, okay. So we got my hormones tested the day before we were leaving to move me down here. We got my results. We met with my doctor, and she was like, oh, by the way, your testosterone is through the roof. The average levels for females is from, you know, 0 to 10. That's, you know, where they should be. And mine were at 14.37. So yeah, she prescribed me birth control to hopefully help deal with my testosterone levels. And I've been on it for about a month now. I am noticing some differences. I'm breaking out way less on my forehead. My breakouts are slowly starting to move down. I do have a bunch under my chin right now, just because I guess that's the place you break out when it's hormonal. So I am getting better, but I'm still not where I want to be. She said within 2 months I should know. So I have about a month till October that I'll be able to tell and see how I'm doing with that. So yeah, that's where I am to this point. I plan on continuing posting and talking more about that. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe and check out my blog. I always love, you know, try to keep it as updated as possible. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions for me, I do have an email. It's destroyacne@gmail.com. You can email me there if you want to do more in-depth than Tumblr. I always love to talk to people and, you know, let them know what I know, because in doing this, I have become way more educated on skincare. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a professional at all. I'm just an amateur who knows what works for me. But if, you know, maybe I could help someone, that'd be great. So they don't have to feel, you know, like I do and have felt. So hopefully my skin will get better. I will keep you guys updated. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was probably long, but I tried to fit as much in here as possible. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.